quickly move on now from the Supreme Court. We are getting a big development. Bilkis Bano case that has reached the Supreme Court, and this time around there is an advocate, Aparna Bhatt, who has now suggested that Supreme Court gave a discretion to the state to consider it. Even when it comes to senior advocate Kapil Sibal, who are saying that they are challenging the remission order, especially in this heinous crime that has happened, Harish, and how the convicts and the accused in the case were let off.
Yes, that's right. A very significant development as far as the Bilkis Bano case is concerned, where all these 11 convicts were released by the Gujarat government on remission. Today, a petition has been filed on behalf of Bilkis Bano by senior advocates Aparna Bhatt and Kapil Sibal. And Supreme Court has very significantly agreed to hear the PIL mentioned by advocates Aparna Bhatt and Kapil Sibal, challenging the remission granted to the 11 convicts who were convicted for killing 14 persons and sexually assaulting pregnant Bilkis Bano during the 2002 post-Gujarat riots. A bench headed by Chief Justice asked the counsels whether the release was based on Supreme Court order. Sibal said that petitioner is not questioning the Supreme Court order, but the basis on which remission was granted to these 11 convicts. Remember, Supreme Court had in May 2000 this year on a petition filed by one of the convicts, Radhesham Bhagwan Das, directed the Gujarat government to consider the remission plea on the basis of a 1992 remission policy, which had in fact not prescribed, not specified in fact which all convicts can be released, which all convicts cannot be released, and so there was a controversy. So after receiving the Supreme Court order, the Gujarat government set up a panel, review panel for remission, and decided to, in a very controversial decision, decided to release all these convicts, which had resulted in a national outrage, and there was several criticism of the Gujarat government, which said that this was a crime which shook the conscience of the society, and the Gujarat government should not have released these convicts. It is at such a juncture that Kapil Sibal has moved Supreme Court on behalf of Bilkis Bano, challenging the remission order of the Gujarat government, releasing all these 14 convicts, and this is a very, very big development as far as the Bilkis Bano controversy is concerned. Back to you.
Right, but Harish, if we look at the case, because there has been a lot of questions and criticism that is also being raised, especially when it comes to the Gujarat government, especially under the remission policy of the Gujarat government. However, these convicts would have not been released if the state government would have gone by the current remission policy, which was formulated in 2014.
No, in fact, that is the biggest loophole which the Gujarat government had taken advantage of. Remember, it was the Supreme Court which in May 2022 directed the Gujarat government to consider the 1992 policy, as per which there is no bar on even releasing the gangrape and murder victims, convicts too. So, but the 2014 rule, as you rightly said, specifically prohibits release of gangrape, rape and murder convicts, but the 1992 policy does not prevent any such release. So the Gujarat government had taken advantage of the fact that the May 2022 Supreme Court order had specifically said that Gujarat government should consider the 1992 policy. So this is a raging controversy, and in the midst of it, on the behalf of Bilkis Bano, the victim, Kapil Sibal, senior advocate, has moved the Supreme Court seeking challenging the remission order given by the Gujarat government.
But Harish, does it mean that when it comes to the union government's new guidelines, they were ignored by granting remission to these convicts in the rape case? Will that be taken up in the Supreme Court?
To come up when the matter comes up for hearing, because urgent hearing has been sought. We'll have to wait and watch whether the Supreme Court lists the matter for hearing tomorrow. And coming to your question, once the Supreme Court says that 1992 policy needs to be followed by the Gujarat government, no other law, no other rule stops the Gujarat government, because the Supreme Court very clearly said that it was in 2008 that the convicts were sent, these accused were convicted. So the rule which holds the field on that particular day will apply, and no other law, no other rule. Even the Gujarat government 2014.
All right, Mr. Majid Memon is with us on the phone line. Sir, when it comes to the Supreme Court, it has agreed to take up the matter when it comes to the Bilkis Bano rape case, sir. But especially when it comes to the questions that are being raised over granting remission to these convicts in the rape case, that might be taken up in the Supreme Court.
Well, I think countrywide there has been noise about the manner in which the state of Gujarat has exercised its power in granting remission, because they have flouted almost all the norms and guidelines that have been laid for the purposes of using discretion in granting remission to convicted persons. Now, mass rape, mass murder, 11 persons have been found guilty. There are a number of issues on which this particular concession granted to these 11 convicts appears to be unfair, unjust, and not tenable. You see, if you remember that this Bilkis Bano trial was not allowed to be conducted in Gujarat.
Right, sir. Several questions that are being raised, but the Supreme Court for now has agreed to hear and take up the matter. Remains to be seen when. Thank you very much, Mr. Memon. Harish, thank you for joining us.